We are now continuing with another very, very traditional Austrian company, B&R Industrial Automation, Bernecker and Rainer, previously known. And the people from Bernecker and Rainer, unfortunately, couldn't be here today, but we have the Croatian representative, Ivan Blažeković. Ivan, happy to have you here. Over to you.
Thank you. I'll go up there. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Alan Ivan Blažeković from company Primotronic, and I'm today representing the company B&R Automation, especially their edge controller in the world of the industrial IoT. We are talking about digitalization of industry, of society, and we see all of these very nice presentations. We see the data, which is nowadays called the fuel of the future. We see nice graphs, we see analysis, but at some place you have to get the data from somewhere. And we have in our portfolio of automation the edge controller. Why we call it the edge controller? Everybody's probably now familiar that there is the cloud and everything is in the cloud. But sometimes, especially when you are in manufacturing, you can run into problems if everything's in the cloud because you're in a real world situation. You have media coming into your factory, you have to prepare it, you have to get it down to the machine floor. On the machine floor, you have to do something with, and in the end, you are getting out with a product. So the cloud is somewhere. So to enable us not to get into the situation that time-critical processes are jeopardized because of some latency issues or some internet connectivity issues, edge controllers are used. You are basically moving the cloud or the computers back to the manufacturing. That's why it's called edge controller. You can see it down there. We can provide computational power at the floor where you need it. Here on this slide, you can see this gap on the other side between IT and OT. IT, information technology, OT, operational technology. What you don't really want is that somebody can really get into your manufacturing and tamper with your machinery or with your factories. On the other hand, you want to analyze the data which your manufacturing or plants are doing. And there is a natural gap in this. The information technologies are meant for another world, the operation technologies are for another world, the world of manufacturing. We who come from the automation part of the business, we are here to bridge this gap, to provide you at the manufacturing level with what you need there, which is industrial computing, managing of processes, controlling that the product is produced. Of course, when we are bridging the gap, we need to provide you with safety and security so that nobody gets into the systems and tampers with them. You want to get data from your machines up into the cloud or into other areas of your business. So you can store the data, you can review the data, you can analyze the data, you can present the data, and then in the end, use all of this to get together to orchestrate your whole production, because some companies have manufacturing sites all over the world. Some have only one factory, some are in 20, 30 countries. So, industrial computing. Important thing here is that in the past, or not only in the past, still, programmable logic controllers are the brain of any machine or any factory automation. In the meantime, it's possible to virtualize them So you can put them into PCs. But since we are in manufacturing, you need reliability. B&R has a long-standing tradition of producing industrial PCs, so we have long life cycles, which in manufacturing are usually necessary, and we can now put into one device several things. On this slide, on this picture, you can see in the yellowy-orange part, this is the virtualized PLC, which is inside the industrial PC. We are using one core for PLC related operations, which are time critical. As I mentioned to some people here already, just imagine when you have a bottling machine and the bottle comes to the filling station and the valve opens and the bottle is not there, then you have water all around the place. So in the PLC world, in the operation technology world, time critical is the buzzword. In the information technology, it's not that important how fast your web page is loading. Okay, you will be crazy if it takes 30 minutes, but if it's 2 or 3 seconds, that's okay. But with a bottle, if the bottle is there in the second or in the first, means you have a spill. So we have here the possibility to dedicate one core for the PLC operation. We can do it locally, hybrid, which would mean we have an industrial PC on premises, or we can even put it into the cloud. For this, technology has to evolve a little bit. The colleagues from A1 were talking about 5G. 5G will be very important here so that you get even your PLCs into the cloud. But now it's better, safer, have it here in the PC. Our hypervisor software enables us that inside the PC, other cores are used for other operations, be it collecting data, be it presenting data, be it analyzing data, be it sending data. Some of these processes do not have to have a dedicated core because they are not so time critical. A very big topic here is you don't want somebody to get into your manufacturing. So since we are putting one PC with its cores and are using it for production and for all the other needed stuff, we have to make sure that the data that goes out and data that goes in is our data, that we control it, that we own it, and that we do not have somebody else being there who would suddenly, again, tamper with our machines, and then we have problems in our manufacturing. So we took care that our PCs are safe. We implement industry standards, state-of-the-art protocols, ways of protecting. There will be a lot of technical words coming up here, but in the end, I would focus in this part only on this one thing, which is the last one, secure remote maintenance. In manufacturing, what is happening is you have many plants around the world. You would actually need in every plant the same amount of engine maintenance works. But sometimes, I mean, this becomes very, very expensive, especially if you're employing people in Germany or in Norway. It can be easier or cheaper that you employ them in Croatia. We don't have to go to India. We have very good engineers for a far better price. And with the secure remote access, we are able to bridge the gap again so that from wherever the maintenance engineers are sitting, they can get into the machine and remotely do the maintenance tasks or repair tasks, and only at hand have some people who can do the simpler works like changing a sensor, putting in a connector, something like this. Nowadays, in this digitalized world and where data is the fuel, you want to get as much data as you can from the floor. Of course, you could now say, okay, we will do this in our own system, but B&R decided to open up to third-party solutions and of course, therefore, is using industry standard protocols software. So OPC UA, MQTT, these are all buzzwords which you will be hearing all around when we are talking about getting data into the cloud, into ERPs, into MASs. This is now too technical. I'll jump through this because somebody liked this one. When we are gathering data, it's important to save it. Machines sometimes work in microsecond tacts. You can imagine that in a very short period of time, you will have a lot of data. So what we are offering with our solutions is to store them locally, partly local, partly in the cloud, all in the cloud. We are offering data compression on premises so that in cases you have situations with bandwidth problems, you don't lose anything out, but still have to it. Of course, we are supporting NoSQL or SQL-based data systems regarding on the data you have there. Some things just need to be tabularized, some things have to be connected. It's always different, depends on the manufacturing process. While we are there, collecting all the data, we can provide from our system, which again is in the edge controller, that you analyze what's getting out there. You can create alarms. You can monitor KPIs. You can even compare parallelly what's going on in one factory or in the other factory. You can basically get totally new views into your manufacturing processes. At one of our clients who is, I'm not allowed to name them, but they are in the automotive sector, they are now realizing that same machines in different countries are not working at the same efficiency levels. And it's not always the people who are the problem. It sometimes can only be that the machine was just 6 months earlier installed so that the tools are not as good as anymore. Sometimes it's energy. I mean, I like to joke that sometimes it can happen that the machine gets the sentiment of the country where they are, so they are working slower, I don't know, in southern Italy than they would work in Norway. But it's usually never that case. But you get a lot of data which you then can analyze and make a big picture out of it. To make things easier for third parties who are providing companies with reports or with business intelligence support, we have already an integrated business intelligence suite which can be used for easy reporting, setting up of reports, or even if you do not have an outside supporter company or whatever, you can do it by yourself. It's meant for you, yourself as the owner of it, but to help others who are supporting you in this world where you usually nowadays don't do anything or everything inside one company. So, yeah. It's easy to create everything what you need for business meetings. When you just go a little bit back into the past, somebody, production manager, would at the end of the day, week, month, get some paper reports, Excel spreadsheets, which would just say, okay, yes, today we produced so much and much of this, we used so much energy, and we, I don't know, used so many media for this. That you would present on a board meeting, weekly, monthly, only showing papers. Now, you can do this real time online, and with far more data, with far more detail. It's not like that you come back then into the situation that, oh, we didn't think about that to monitor this. Now all data is collected. You can drill down, recreate, create whatever you need. Even after you come to an idea, oh, we should have thought of that. The system has the data. Of course, nowadays it's very important that you have the possibility to show it on a phone or on a computer, so it's already ready for tablets, smartphones, or PCs, of course. As already said, with gathering all of this data, you can see how efficient you are, how much energy you are using, why some machines are working better, some are working less good. Is there some vibration maybe coming up from situations where you have energy fluctuations on the power grid? Sometimes some companies are at the end of the power grid. I was to one of them in Croatia where they do not get 230 volts out of the line, but somewhere around 207. And which is a problem in manufacturing. Of course, all of this data can be presented on HMIs. So you get it back on the machine. So somebody from above can give back into the machine, on the machines, on the floor, present visual as we talked today and yesterday about different management systems. So Kanban, lean management, whatever, you can produce and, I have to fast. Again, a lot of those. And in the end, what it leads us to is that if you have many machines, a lot of manufacturing, you can streamline all of this, see where you are good, in which factories, in which you are not good, and in which cases you can then share the knowledge with the other guys. So I'll just run through this, which is just parts which are implemented in our systems. And in the end, again, we can provide now an industrial PC that can operate in real-time environments as well in, let's call it, information technology environments. So we can cover it all in one piece. And we can do it in the cloud as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blažeković, for connecting the real world with IT. Thank you very much. And we're now coming to Beterna, talking about the future of ERP, which was...